It should go without saying that Neon marketed Longlegs to perfection. Its great opening weekend numbers are a testimony to their having a brilliant team, and it's a massive source of hope for the film industry at large. An indie horror film with a unique premise and no association with Blumhouse has turned a profit in one weekend. Longlegs is triumphant this weekend for more than just box office though. It's also a very strong film which lives up to the massive hype created by the marketing department, which was my biggest concern going into the film. Could a movie which went viral with numerous trailers deliver the goods, or would we all come away bitterly disappointed? It's a great feeling when you're sold the sizzle and fed a perfectly cooked steak. Our story follows Detective Lee Harker, a woman touched with psychic ability who is an FBI rookie. She is tasked with hunting down a mysterious serial killer who has plagued the US for years without any break in the case named Longlegs. Unfortunately for Harker, her involvement in the case brings her to the attention of Longlegs himself, who begins to stalk and harass her, all the while continuing his murder spree. At the location of each murder, he leaves behind coded messages which are indecipherable until Lee comes along and begins to use her unique hunches to crack the case open. Now the film is tense some more, and it does not let up on this for a single moment, in particular using diegetic sound like crunching gravel and doors opening and closing to great effect. There's a constant sense of impending doom baked into Longlegs the picture, because Longlegs the monster is aided by Satan himself. This is a supernatural horror film after all, and it wears this proudly. The cat and mouse game between Harker and Longlegs is less a battle of wits and more a confrontation between spiritual powers. Oz Perkins doesn't appear to be a Bible-thumping Christian, yet he doesn't hesitate to quote from the Book of Revelation or explore satanic imagery like the seal of Satan. It was a real delight to me that the director had integrity in his storytelling and didn't let his own beliefs color the picture. Instead, we have a classic supernatural tale full of the Western world's quintessential good and evil, God and the devil. Micah Monroe delivers her best performance yet as Detective Harker. She is a deeply traumatized and honest woman who is obsessive about catching killers at the expense of everything else in her life. She is also extremely terrified by the world she inhabits, and yet doesn't allow that for a minute to get in the way of her doing what must be done. Longlegs is played to perfection by Nicolas Cage in a very disturbing role where he's hardly seen on screen but uses his insidious voice to convey multitudes. Cage is known for bombastic performances delivered with 100% sincerity, and he continues to do just that here. A high-pitched, childlike voice, deranged eyes, and gangly movements are such wild creative choices that I can't imagine any other actor mimicking Cage, let alone producing such work. He's exceptional and deserves enormous praise. The man of the hour, Oz Perkins, has created the best film of his career thus far, and confirms to all who were paying attention during a particular test in the opening 15 minutes that he's a 33rd degree man. Congrats, Oz. Though next time make it a little more subtle. Having a character literally say 33 isn't very creative, and is a disappointment for those of us who are clued in on the game without being a member of the tribe. Now Longlegs was marketed as a horror spectacle, but I must say it isn't as scary a film as Hereditary, for instance. Instead, it's rather more disturbing, and much like the devil himself slowly insinuating into your life and leading you to ruin, the film creeps and crawls around your spine until you realize you're enmeshed in utter darkness. This is a film which you'll end up talking about, even if it's just to yourself, because it made you feel something strange, but you're unable to define it clearly, and so it haunts you. It lingers over your psyche, and I like it even more for that. It's a different kind of horror experience, perhaps closer to The Shining or Cure, though not as exceptional as either of those films. Furthermore, the gore is very well timed and effective when it does come. That alone makes it worth your while as a horror fan, because as we all know, a lot of films nowadays use abundant gore and nudity, it's worth saying, to mask a lack of talent. That is not the case here. Longlegs isn't without its weaknesses though. The most obvious is a jam-packed and very rushed third act which wobbles its way through convenient storytelling, big revelations, and a final twist of the knife towards a cliffhanger ending if you're an optimistic type, but really, I think we all know what happens. This made for a rather sloppy experience on my end, and I think the third act would have benefited from a few extra minutes to allow each twist and turn to breathe rather than racing through them. Nevertheless, Longlegs is creepy and compelling, and so it earns itself a solid rating from me. I highly recommend you go see it, and if anyone from Neon is watching, then do give your marketing department a pay rise. Thanks for watching.
Made nice with me. But you didn't.